Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Fairtex BGV14 boxing gloves. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Fairtex BGV14 boxing gloves. I got mine in the red and white colorway, 14 ounces. It is a Velcro closure only model. You can get these anywhere between 8 and 16 ounces, and they have multiple colorways and designs available on their website. I'll put the link in the description box. Now, this is a microfiber model from the Fairtex lineup, meaning that it's made from Syntec, meaning that it's made of a synthetic leather outside casing. So it comes in typically at a little bit better price point compared to their genuine leather gloves, but it is still manufactured in Thailand. So it's not like Fairtex takes their synthetic stuff and kind of offshores it to China or Pakistan. They keep everything in-house and they still manufacture these gloves in Thailand. I'm sure they just get the material and they still make it in the factory that's in Thailand, which is good because you still get that one-on-one attention to detail during the manufacturing process that you sometimes forego if you were to outsource it somewhere outside of Thailand. So I do like the fact that they keep everything in-house. Design-wise, to me, this glove is more of a hybrid style glove, meaning that it has elements of both a traditional boxing glove and a traditional Thai glove, and they kind of combine it in both. Where most traditional Thai style gloves, and keep in mind, I've never done Muay Thai. If you kicked me in the leg, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. With that being said, from the design standpoint, Thai style gloves are typically are a little bit more short, stockier, and wider, and they have a segmented, rounded cuff where the cuff on it feels almost separate from the rest of the glove, and that's going to help with the flexibility with the clinch that you do in Thai boxing that you don't have to deal with in traditional classical boxing. So that's the biggest thing. The other big thing typically on Thai style gloves is they put more of an emphasis on padding on the palm side of the glove for parrying punches, elbows, kicks, and knees. Where again, in boxing, all you're really worried about, for the most part, is going to be punches. You might get a rabbit punch here and there. You might get an elbow depending on if someone's throwing a hook and hits you with the elbow. But for the intent of the sport, you should be only be getting hit with punches, and that's all you have to worry about. So typically, from a design standpoint, Thai gloves usually put a little bit more padding and have more of an emphasis on padding on the palm side. The glove itself is, I'd say, about medium in profile. It's not an overly large or long glove or short and stocky. I'd say it's right in the middle. The Syntec leather on here is actually held up really nicely. It does feel more premium than some of the other cheaper synthetics you see out there, like on the Everlast entry-level gloves. So they've held up actually pretty well as far as being in my rotation when I use these for training. It does say Fairtex right here in the white Fairtex cursive that we're accustomed to seeing. You also have the 3.5-inch Velcro strap right there with the black piping around. Would have been nice if they had some kind of Fairtex logo here, but again, you know, I also do like the simplicity of it as well, but would have been nice if they had some kind of logo from Fairtex right there as well. Rotating into the palm side, you'll notice that it has double stitching in white throughout. You have ventilated holes on the thumb, nothing on the palm. Medium-sized grip bar that's pretty soft when you push down on it. Also a attached thumb and multi-layer foam padding. I'd say has an interesting feel to it. When you push down on the padding, it starts off kind of soft, and the deeper you go into it, it kind of solidifies. And what I found with these gloves is that they really protect very well. They're almost kind of deceptive, if that's the right word. When you feel them initially, oh, they feel pretty soft, more of a puncher style glove, but really that's not the case. The more you push down into the foam, you can actually feel that the foam kind of stiffens up towards the middle. So it makes a very well balanced glove, both for sparring, hitting the bag, and hitting the mitts, which I really like. You do have, just like a lot of the other Thai style gloves, that half Velcro cuff where the Velcro is actually stitched onto the inside right here rather than onto this outside edge. It says 14 ounces. It says handmade in Thailand, Syntec leather. Show you guys the inside. Polyester nylon liner. You have, I'd say, about an inch of soft density padding on that side of the glove, and again about an inch on this side. And you can see how it kind of loops around and goes into the palm, and again, that's for parrying strikes. And you have, I'd say, about an inch of medium density foam on the back of the wrist. Quality wise with these gloves, for a synthetic glove, they're very nice. One thing I love about Thai-made gloves is, like I mentioned earlier, the attention to detail, but you can really tell by the stitching. I don't think I've ever seen a Thai glove that had bad stitching on it. They've always had excellent stitching. So you can see, I mean, just how straight those stitches are. The outside edges and the seams look really good. You know, the Velcro is done nicely. The glove itself is a little underweight. I believe they're at 13.4 or 13.3 ounces. So they're a hair underweight for their advertised weight of 14 ounces. But again, you know, for a training glove, I have never been really a big concern. Unless it's like 2 or 3 ounces over or under, then that's kind of a big deal. But within an ounce, I'm not too big of a stickler. But from a quality standpoint, you obviously would want the weight to be on point. But you can see the stitching looks really good, and the glove is very well balanced. So you have that. It's not a top heavy glove by any means, so the distribution of weight is done very nicely. You know, the edges look really good. And the other thing about this leather is that Syntec leather. So genuine leather gloves, typically you'll start to see that the dye will start to crack and kind of peel and fade because it is absorbed into the leather hide. You know, the leather is skin, so it absorbs and it acts like like real skin, where synthetics don't have to worry about that. The other good thing about synthetics is you don't really have to use like leather conditioner or any kind of like mink oil. You can just really get like some mild soap and water and just wipe these down, and you should be good from a maintenance standpoint. But quality wise, these are very nice. Putting my hand into the glove, comfort wise, one thing you'll notice right when you put your hand in is how deep the finger compartment is, which I love. So the positioning of your hand and creating a fist is very good. You don't have to worry about putting a lot of effort into making a fist just because of the pre-position of how the hand compartment is. It's very nice and deep, which I love. This padding right here is surprisingly comfortable, and it's not too thick to where you feel like it pushes and digs into your palm or digs into this part of your thumb, the fat part of your thumb. So I didn't feel any discomfort even with hand wraps on. The depth of the thumb is really good. It does not feel awkward. And when you make a fist, you can see that the attached thumb does not pull down on the tip to where it collapses on the tip of your thumb. The glove does have a little breaking in to do, so you can see that that's about as far as I can open my hand. It does take some effort, so the more I use these, the more these will break down, and you'll have more flexibility with being able to open and close your hand. But when you get them in the mail and they're brand new, they do have a little bit of stiffness to them. Really nice grip bar, and I also like the fact that they put a piece of neoprene at the very end to cover the stitching and to give yourself a secondary pad that acts like memory foam, to where the more you use this glove, the more the tips of your fingers will kind of leave their impression on the glove. From a sizing standpoint, these are pretty much a perfect size for a 14-ounce glove. I can envision the 16 being a little bit bigger for longer and bigger hands. So I feel like from a sizing standpoint, regardless of how big or small you are as a person, in terms of your hands as well, and just how big your hands are, I think these are true to size in that sense, where if you do have longer fingers, bigger hands, you're a bigger person. I think if you go with a 16-ounce glove, they will fit you really nicely, and you won't have to worry about them being too tight. Protection and performance, a very well balanced glove. I'd say they're right down in the middle. Again, when I first started using them, my initial thoughts were they were going to be more of like a puncher style glove just based on the foam. But one thing about these is they compress. They compress very nicely, and you get a really nice satisfying pop. And disregard my form, it probably looks really bad right now, but this is for the sake of showing you guys that you can really throw with a good amount of power, throw on some hooks, and it does a good job of protecting your hands. I mean, I don't get any kind of soreness. It does a good job of compressing and absorbing shock, and you get a pretty good amount of feedback as well. So I love the fact that they use different densities of foams in here to kind of give you the best of both worlds. Cost-wise, these gloves are currently at least $89 on the Fairtex website. I think that's a fair price, even at being a synthetic glove. These have held up really well. I have seen actually people at the gym that have these same model and have had them over for a year, and they've held up nicely. The only thing with them is they start to really smell really bad, but I think that's a vast majority of gloves. They start to stink after a while, especially if you use your gloves and you throw them right into your duffel bag. They're gonna smell funky. I get it. Everybody has that. But other than them having issues with it smelling funky, the gloves have actually held up well. I mean, some of the the logos have faded on them, but you know, for a synthetic glove, performs well, very comfortable. I really like the foam that they use on here. $89 I think definitely is a fair price, and plus you get a multitude of different sizes and colorways, so that's really the cherry on top. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Fairtex BGV14 boxing gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.